Today we're going to talk a little bit more about one of the most popular moderate resorts at Walt Disney World in Orlando, and that is Port Orleans Riverside. So stay tuned to learn more about whether or not you should stay there on your next trip, what kind of amenities they offer, dining options, and what makes this such a popular moderate resort. Port Orleans resorts are made up of two sister resorts that are located along the Sassagoula River and are both in the moderate category at Walt Disney World. Port Orleans French Quarter Resort, which we're not going to cover a lot in detail today, is fashioned after New Orleans style, bright colors, big characters, over-the-top theming at the pool, and it's a slightly smaller resort located just slightly up the river from Port Orleans Riverside. Now, Riverside is a very large resort. This is a resort that has a lot of different room category types, making it a really popular resort for families, especially if you have 5 people in your group, or if you're looking for something a little bit special with maybe one of the royal rooms. So we'll talk a little bit more about rooms in a minute. But as we look at these two resorts, they are located out on the Sassagoula River, and they're considered in the Disney Springs resort area. So the nice thing about this resort at Riverside is that you can take a boat directly to French Quarter, and you can also take a boat all the way to Disney Springs. It's about a 20-minute boat ride. It's a beautiful boat ride. It's very relaxing. Highly recommend it. We enjoyed this on our arrival day. We did a few different activities around the resort, and then we took that nice leisurely boat ride, and we got to see from a distance Old Key West Resort and Saratoga Springs Resort as we pulled right on into Disney Springs. Now, as you think about the landscape of Port Orleans Riverside, it is themed after Louisiana. Now, not the New Orleans, Louisiana that you have over at French Quarter, but more of that sprawling rural Louisiana energy. So it's a little bit quieter, a little bit more calm, definitely spread out. And there are 2 areas where your rooms will be located in this resort. There is the Alligator Bayou section, which is giving you this very distinct kind of backwoods cottages energy. It's all through winding trails. And then you have Magnolia Bend, which kind of is more of the estate mansion style, plantation home style section of the resort. So there's 2 different areas where you could find yourselves situated based on the room type that you select, and also just based on what's available when you check in. This is also a dog-friendly resort. There are a few resorts on property where you can bring your furry friend with you, and Port Orleans Riverside is one of those resorts. So if you are looking to travel with your dog, you can do that here. You can stay here. They have some very specific dog-friendly gifts that they will give you upon check-in, things that you can purchase, but also some areas for your dog to enjoy on property. All right, let's talk about the resort. How is it laid out? It is a very big resort, as I mentioned. And so if we're going to start with kind of the central building, where you walk in, where you check in when you arrive. This is the main building where you will find your lobby. You'll also find your dining located here, and a really kind of what I think one of the best stores that you can shop in. So for quick service, Riverside Mill Food Court is going to be your one-stop shop for all things quick service dining. We ate here, I would say, every day of our stay at Riverside. We loved the food. The quality of the food is great. It's a very big space where you can really spread out. You don't feel like people are on top of you. You can also mobile order at this quick service, which I always recommend doing. We would mobile order our breakfast, go pick it up, bring it back to the room. As we were getting ready, we were able to have our Mickey waffles and not feel rushed to get out super early. So definitely check out Riverside Mill Food Court. My favorite dish on their menu is the jambalaya. I had very low expectations, honestly, but I heard it was really good and it exceeded all expectations. It was wonderful. It was hot. It had a little bit of a kick. So if you're spice adverse, might not be your dish, but I had it twice on our trip because it was that good. Comes with some cornbread and it's a very delicious meal. Now, next to the food court, you're going to find Boat Rights. Boat Rights is a Southern cooking sit-down meal. It is situated in a beautiful space that looks like you're in a shipbuilder yard, and it is just a great place to go if you're looking for that all-you-care to enjoy Southern fare. It's a very popular resort dining option. It only serves dinner, so it's one of those places that you'll want to book a reservation for. It's not a hard to get reservation by any means, but if you are looking to dine there and sit down and enjoy the space and enjoy some good Southern food, it's a good option for you and for your family. You're also going to find River Roost Lounge, located right kind of off the lobby. And this is where you will find the magnificent Yeehaw Bob, who performs on select nights with his piano and his singing and his storytelling. And so if you are there on one of those nights, definitely try to check out Yeehaw Bob. He is a Disney legend at the Riverside, and someone that you can find some great entertainment with when you are there. All right, so you walk you discovered the whole main building, but there's one thing you haven't seen. It's one of the biggest gift shops or Disney store shops that you can have at a resort. It is a sprawling merch location where you're going to find all of your sundries that you need to make your trip a little more enjoyable. Lots of Disney merch, a lot of Tiana and Tiana's Bayou themed merch as well, because you are part of the Port Orleans resort area, and that's a lot of the theming you're going to have there. And there's also some animatronics, which is not often something you find in resort stores anymore. So there are some really cute animatronics where you can see Donald and Goofy and just antics that they're getting up to. So as you walk through that merch store, make sure you look up and enjoy some of those fun classic characters that you can find. All right, we're gonna go outside now. We're gonna go out the back of this main building, and as you walk out, you are facing directly the boat launch for Disney Springs and Port Orleans French Quarter that I mentioned. So there you can get on the boat. It's running pretty constantly throughout the day, so don't worry about not being able to get a boat to where you want to go. They're running pretty quickly. There are times of the year where sometimes the Sassagoula River is a little bit low water level, and sometimes those boats will not run. So that is something that can happen kind of in the late spring, early summer months. But again, it's hit or miss if that's going to happen. It doesn't happen all the time, and we were able to enjoy the boat service for the duration of our trip when we were there in the winter. All right. Right next to that area, you're also going to find Surrey bike rentals. Now, this is something that can be really fun. There are 4-person, 2-person Surrey bikes that you can rent, and you can explore all the winding paths and trails around the resort on your own bike. I would say as 2 parents rolling around with 2 kids who were not pedaling the bike, the 2 younger kids, we got a good workout doing this, and we had a lot of fun kind of just meandering through the trails and exploring the resort a little bit that way. So check it out if it's something you're looking to do on a resort day or an arrival day. You can also get horse-drawn carriage rides here and in the evenings, and they are going to pick you up right outside the back entrance of the main building. So if it is something that you want to do and take that nice clip-clop stroll around the lamplit sidewalks of the resort, I recommend it. We did this on our last trip and it was really magical. We had an amazing driver and horse and carriage, and it was a really great way to just enjoy the quiet calm at night and see the resort in a different way. And we also got to learn a lot about the resort and about Disney and Disney horses by just talking to our driver, Houston, who was the one taking us around the resort. So shout out to cast member Houston, who made it a really special night for us, even though it was really cold that night. We had a great time. That is something you're going to want to book about 60 days in advance of your trip, because those reservations can go quickly. You can find them closer to your trip as well, but that is limited times and spots available for those horse-drawn carriage rides. All right, so we've kind of walked out the back building. Now as we meander out to the left side, you'll see some trails that take you directly to Old Man Island. Now, Old Man Island is going to be set right in the middle of the resort. It's going to be where you find your pool. You're going to find a pool bar and Muddy River's there, pool bar, some light snacks you can get. There's also a very nice playground that our kids enjoyed quite a bit while we were there. There is a campfire under the stars area. You can find that where you're going to get the campfire at night. And then there's also a place to go fishing. There's a fishing hole and you can sign up to do some fishing. It's catch and release only, but it is another fun activity you can do on a resort day with your family and friends. All right, so Old Man Island in the middle, and then from there you just get branches of different trails and different bridges that will take you either over the river into the Magnolia Bend section of the resort or through some meandering trails into the Alligator Bayou area. And that's where all of the rooms are going to be located. Now keep in mind the type of room you select will determine a lot of the time where you'll be located. There are standard rooms at this resort. There are 5th sleeper rooms, which are super popular with families of 5. This is going to give you 2 queen beds and a fold down twin, which is a great option for people who have more children in the family or you have one extra person that you want to accommodate. And then there's also the royal rooms. The royal rooms are themed to all of the Disney princesses. These rooms are hosted by Princess Tiana, but she has decorated them with all of the fancy and fun mementos from her princess friends who come to visit her, and they stay in these royal rooms themselves when they visit Tiana in her resort. So we had the pleasure of staying in a royal room. My kids loved it. There was some amazing light up headboards that just have fireworks going on. And in the room, you'll find lots of nods to all the princesses and even the princes. They have their own cameos on the wall in the royal rooms. So keep in mind, depending on the room type you book, it will often determine where you are, whether it's in Magnolia Bend or Alligator Bayou. Royal rooms are only going to be found in Magnolia Bend. Some of the Fit Sleepers, again, are going to be spread a little bit more around the resort. So if you have any questions about where your rooms could potentially be located, make sure that you chat with your travel advisor or you do some more research on that so that way you are not surprised by where you are. And if there's a certain area that you'd like to prefer to be in, great ways to figure out how to get there is to book the right room type and also make some requests when you are booking. All right, so the question is, we talked about what this resort has to offer. What are some of the negatives about this resort? Because no resort is perfect. Some are more perfect for different families and different groups, I would say. But for this resort, one of the biggest challenges is the bus system. This resort, because it is so large, and like a few other moderate resorts that are out there, has an internal bus loop. Now, what that means is it's going to take multiple stops around the resort. This is a good thing when you're staying in your room and you're maybe in the back part of the resort and you don't want to have to walk all the way to the front, to the lobby to get your bus in the morning. There is going to be a stop closer to you. But what it also means is once you get on your bus, you're still going to make a couple more stops at your resort before you make it to your destination, to the park that you want to go to, and so on. So it can be a little bit of a longer time that you just have to plan for when you're thinking about taking buses to all of the parks. That is the only option to go to the parks from this resort, is to use the bus system. Again, Disney Springs has the boat option, so you can take that when you're going to Disney Springs. If you just plan to give yourself a little more time, it won't be that much of a problem for you. So just know that going in. And at the front desk, they can also, when you're checking in, advise you as to what bus stop is going to be closest for you with your room. The price is what makes this a great moderate resort option. You will find that because this resort is so large, it is easy to find rooms often at Port Orleans Riverside. Again, that Fit Sleeper is a popular room type. There's a lot of them, so you can get them even close up to your trip in most times of the year. But the pricing, depending on when you're going, it's always going to depend on your dates. It's going to depend on different promotions that Disney may or may not be running at the time, but you can get these rooms for as low as about $220 a night, which we've been able to see with some different discounted promotion periods, especially during non-peak times. And you can get it up to about $350, almost $400, depending on peak season. So there's quite a range, but again, this moderate resort definitely has a lot of availability and a lot of options for different family types that are looking to travel there. So this may be one that you want to consider. Definitely take a look at. My husband and I have stayed at a lot of different resorts over the years at Walt Disney World, and I would say this one was actually one of his absolute favorites. He loved the landscape, the sprawling paths, the relaxing walks in the morning. I enjoyed going and filling up our resort mugs in the morning and just walking with like a little bit of the haze over the river, and it just felt very peaceful. So we loved the fact that we could go and be busy in the parks all day, get a ton done, but we had this retreat that really felt peaceful and quiet to come back to. The rooms were very quiet. The resort was very quiet. We had Movie Under the Stars that was located right outside of our room area, and even that wasn't distracting or noisy or disturbing while we were there. So I would say if you're looking for a bit of an escape from kind of the over-the-top theming, hustle and bustle of some of the other themed resorts, this may be a great option for you. Saw a lot of couples who were having staycations there. So check it out. If it's one that you've had on your list, definitely explore it. If you have any more questions about the resort, feel free to drop them in the comments, and make sure that you like and subscribe and follow along for more.